It is finally done! I cannot believe that this iron farm has taken us almost 4 months to perfect. It started from this, to this, to this, to last week where we ended up with this. And yeah, I took a screenshot of a replay file. What are you gonna do about it? After last week, I was sick, I tell you. Sick of how long it's taken us to finish this farm. And after last week, I decided it was finally time to actually finish this bad boy. However, tragedy struck when the AC in my apartment blew out and it was 107 degrees outside, and my PC was literally too hot to turn on. So, literally 2 days ago, I hopped on and made a final push in this build after the AC was fixed. There were a wicked amount of suggestions as to what I could do to improve this build, and a few of you even reached out to me on Discord with suggestions. So, let's go take a look at what these final changes were. The first thing I did was make the door that we made last week actually useful. This means making a very gradual stairway down from the door to the sides of the building. Last week, I received a suggestion to make the staircase cut across the face of the anvils, but I had another fun idea for the anvils, so I decided to keep it pretty simple for now. The next step was to add a little bit more texturing on the building itself. Nothing crazy. I took a brush and I set it to 1 block tall cylinders of diorite that can only mask quartz, and then use that to sprinkle these lines across the face of the building. Due to the whole PC burning bit, I didn't have a lot of time to play and record, but if I had a little bit more time, I might have gone through and textured the diorite with some stairs to give it a little bit more of an eroded feel. As is, I think the simple texturing worked fairly well, but I would love to hear your opinion down below. And finally, I've been putting it off, but it was finally time to take on the dome. I know I've been putting it off. In fact, it's barely changed since we first made it. But I decided to, actually update it a little bit. I started out by clearing out a slice of the dome to make a window. I thought about adding a telescope protruding from the opening, as many of you suggested, but I wasn't sure that would fit the whole bank/governmental building vibe that we have going here. But I do like the idea. We should make an astronomy building at some point, so don't worry, you'll probably see that somewhere down the line. Once I figured out what I wanted the window to look like, I decided that I didn't want a window at all. I changed the gray glass that we had to red wool later to match the larger circle with the anvil on it, and then I started putting a little bit more effort onto the trim of the dome. The white on white wasn't really working for me, so I went with my favorite combo of polished basalt and polished deep slate. I also added my fave little walls and candle trick because I couldn't be creative in 107 degree weather. That was pretty much all that I really did for the dome, but I think that it really made it pop. I then added some smaller windows around the base of the dome, but those are fairly inconsequential. The last change I made was to the faces of the anvils. I really liked how we used to have the WaveTech logo on the front of the build, and I decided to bring that concept back in the anvils themselves. Really simple little strategy here. I planned out the shape of the WaveTech logo, and then I set it back into the anvil. So instead of having the WaveTech logo painted on the face of the anvil, it's actually set in, and then I changed the blocks that were on the inside of this logo into gray wool to provide a tiny bit of a different texture. I really liked how it turned out. I would love to hear what your thoughts are, but for now, let's go take a closer peek at this in the creative world itself. Oh, I am so stoked that it is finally done. This has been a long time in the works, and I'm glad that we finally actually wrapped it up today. There's a couple things that I would love to show. Right above these WaveTech logos, right afterwards, I designed these quick little vines that grow up the side of the building, just using azalea, nothing very special. Zoid made us an azalea leaf farm, so we can now freely use these as much as we want in our builds, and I'm pretty excited about that. The other thing that I would really wanted to point out, because someone's gonna say something about it, I can feel it, is these doors lead to certain death, 100%, but we're not going to talk about that. I would say that the part I'm most proud of is this dome. It's so much better looking than it was, and you'll notice that I changed it from iron blocks into smooth quartz. I like the iron block idea because this is supposed to be decorating an iron farm. However, it just didn't match. There was no iron in the rest of the build, and it just didn't work out very well. So I changed it to quartz, and I added these little diorite lines as well, which, in my opinion, it makes it look better. And I love these candle tricks. It's very fun. I think that adding this as a trim definitely makes it look better. I'm really proud of how this dome turned out in particular. And we should probably remove that little buddy down there. You know, I'm slightly curious. This is definitely one of the largest builds I've ever made. Let's do a little height test, shall we? Take a sponge block. Let's say we'll stack it 200 blocks. Yeah, that looks about right. Jump to the top of that. Oh my gosh, it's over 200 blocks tall. I forgot. Let's say 230, maybe? That'll be tall enough. Oh my gosh, it's taller than 230. 250? Okay, that's tall enough. All right, count sponge. Eesh. This building is 248 blocks tall. That's insane. That's almost the 1.17 build limit. I'm so stoked with how this turned out. I'm really excited. Last note before we move on. Someone suggested that I change up the bottom down here, because if we turn on gamma override, we can see that it's very plain and not textured. Someone said maybe adding rust, connecting the anvil to the ground. I love that idea, but we did design a perimeter decoration for this as well. And I don't know exactly where this decoration is going to be sitting in terms of that perimeter decoration, so I don't exactly know how to connect it to a piece that's not right there, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it makes sense. It's so hot. Also, because this part is in complete darkness, I feel like texturing is a little overkill. Oh, well, I don't know. I might touch this up when we actually build in survival. I'd be curious to see if that's something you would like to see. But you know, I think that I earned a little bit of a break, so let's hop right into today's questions. I lied. Questions will have to wait because I have a fun announcement. Down in the description, there will be a link to Wavetext Discord, as well as a link to... That's right, I made a Discord server, mainly for kicks and giggles, but there's some fun uses for the server as well, such as channels for suggesting goodbyes for the random goodbye generator, a channel where I'll post my free subscriber milestone schematics, and a couple other stuffs. Feel free to click the link in the description and give that channel a big ol' sniff, praise Harold. Today's first question is from MC Ronan, asking if I have a server to play on with fans. The quick answer is not really, at least not yet. I have some fun ideas for the future, but I got some planning to do before I have my own server. Long answer is fans? Fans? Is my channel big enough to have fans? Is that a thing now? Dude, that's so cool. Today's second question is from Homedge Connect, asking if Jor and Glotz liked the perimeter work. Well, it's not completely finished, so I didn't show them explicitly, but I did get a message from Glot stating that I see there are tubes on YouTube, so I think it's safe to say he loved it. And as always, if you would like your questions featured in a video, feel free to drop a comment down below or post it in the new Discord for a chance to be featured next Monday. And a quick reminder that if you want to have your goodbye featured on the random goodbye generator, all you gotta do is click that Discord link down below if you want to join Harold's Hangout. But for today, undefined.